Hmm? It's like we all press pause at the same time, right? We press pause on graduations and weddings and B'nai Mitzvah celebrations and baby namings. We press pause on long planned trips and even spontaneous visits to Starbucks. So many plans, so much excitement dashed upon the reality of our societal effort to slow the spread of COVID-19. Sometimes it just feels like too much. We press pause on visiting loved ones, holding their hands through surgeries, and seeing our most vulnerable in their care communities. In too many cases, we have missed opportunities to say goodbye, to provide comfort when it was most needed, and my heart breaks with yours at the losses that we have experienced as people, as a community, and as a society. We pressed pause, and while my ardent hope is that many of those plans and celebrations can be placed upon the shelf for when this national nightmare subsides, I know that many lives have been forever changed and forever lost because of COVID-19. And the world, well, it pressed pause right along with us. Schools went on an early spring break from which they still struggle to return. Businesses shuttered, partially reopened and shuttered again in a disruption to our economy visible from space. Reductions in pay, furloughs, and layoffs impacted an unprecedented number of us, imperiling both livelihoods and lives. Please know that your Temple family is here to help. Our members stand ready to shop for and deliver groceries and prescriptions, to provide social connections on a bad day. And many have made generous donations to help financially with essentials, with utilities, and more. We all need others we can lean on in the difficult times, knowing that they will in turn lean on us when the circumstances change. You are not alone as you navigate this. And I do hope that pressing pause wasn't all bad. Did you get to press pause on a long and frustrating commute, allowing you to spend more time with family or in pursuit of other passions? Did you get to press pause on frequent business travel that it turns out need not be so frequent, or on excessive spending in a way that allowed you to get credit card bills back under control? Perhaps pressing pause gave you the time, the space, the perspective to reevaluate what is important, to reassess how you are spending time, truly our most precious commodity, and to recommit to those things that enrich you as a person. I remember well when Temple pressed pause, too. Emily and I were together with some 60 of you at the Benedum Center to watch what would be the last Pittsburgh performance of the band's visit. It is a magical show, and when the opportunity presents, and it will, I encourage you to seek it. After the performance, we got to speak with and learn from the actors. Rabbi Lockitz and I stepped away from that conversation to conference with David Weisberg and Michelle Markowitz and Leslie Hoffman, Temple's president and nominee for president and executive director, and we made the decision to suspend our in-person gatherings. While so much was still unknown at the time, our tradition is clear that pikuach nefesh, that the preservation of life, takes precedence over all else, even in cases of doubt. We cast our lot with congregations throughout the region and the world that would rather be judged harshly for overreaction in deference to the preservation of human life than callousness, which might further jeopardize those most at risk. We continue to do so to this day. Do you remember that original email that said, and I quote, effective immediately and lasting through the end of March? The end of March? If only. Never could we have imagined that we would be here in the virtual space together for the high holy days. This isn't what I want. This isn't what any of us want. And I have to tell you how impressed and filled with awe I am at the strength of this community. 2020 didn't hand us a couple of lemons. It planted an orchard of lemon trees in the courtyard. And members of this community, well, you guys brought the sugar. Temple Emanuel never closed. We simply pivoted to do some amazing things. Perhaps you have joined us for learning sessions with Temple members in our extended community, doctors, lawyers, therapists, principals, journalists, pastors, politicians, and many more who brought us enriching, important information. Shabbat services and these high holy days are lifted by the participation and voices of this community, whose talent and generosity of time and spirit makes my heart sing. Participation in learning sessions and everything we do has increased as yearnings for connectivity and barriers to participation have been significantly lowered. Tzedek-driven giving to support Shim and our members in need is absolutely inspiring. Our temple, our community, has gotten stronger in this time of crisis, and I cannot tell you how much I support your contributions to this effort. Thank you. You are the core of Temple Emanuel, not 1250 Bower Hill Road, and truly, we are stronger together. It is that energy, that flexibility, that creativity that allowed us to press another button. Fast forward. In a span of 10 weeks, we made 10 years worth of changes. Boy, there were some rocky moments at the start, weren't there? Dropped connections, grainy laptop camera images, overheating computers in the sunny Beit HaTefillah, audio-video sync issues were the bane of my existence. While these sound like the concerns of a television producer, or, with our cobbled together equipment, perhaps a low-budget vlogger, they represent an important facet of the new rabbinate. Rabbis and synagogues have long known that the families we are serving are more geographically dispersed than ever before. We just assumed you had to be here in person to celebrate and to mourn with us. We've long known that many of our systems are outdated and that synagogues the world over are the lagging indicators in the field of technology. We just assumed that you would tolerate that. We've long known that there are more Jews outside of our walls than within. And we just thought we could program our way out of declining affiliation with status quo if-onlys. If only we offered that program. If only we did more of this. We still have so much to learn and many more painful growth spurts along the way. All organizations that wish to remain relevant do. But pressing fast forward has brought about some necessary changes. First, while we eagerly await and plan for the opportunity to welcome people back into the sanctuary, I miss you. We also realize that there are many reasons people are unable to join us. Longtime members splitting their time or spending their time in Florida, people rushing from work or school and unable to make it to temple at a specific time, people with health vulnerabilities unable to be the first back in large groups, and many more. That virtual cat is now out of the bag, and with upgrades to our technology infrastructure, we endeavor to continue streaming services and adult educational opportunities online, even when we can be together again. Second, Temple will continue to be active in the virtual space, on our website and Facebook page and Instagram, through emails and updated electronic communications. You can and should expect more colorful, picture-forward publications like our High Holy Day magazine, more frequent, short chances to infuse every day with Jewish learning and connections on social media, and expanded access to community partners, nationally renowned scholars, musicians, and more. And third, in the early days of the pandemic, we rushed to replicate the functions of Temple online. Now, We're working hard to realize the ways technology can actually improve how we fulfill our mission of living, learning, and leading Judaism. Our collective capacity to transcend, to revision, and to strike a balance between the timeless values of our tradition and the contemporary needs of our society is a linchpin of our resilience and no small part of why we are still here. That capacity will continue to serve us well in this day and age. There are likely things, committee meetings, learning opportunities, from tutoring to Talmud study, even certain ritual observances that might actually be done best online. And would it be too groaningly self-referential to suggest that the best is yet to come? The same flexibility and creativity that allowed us to press fast forward will also help us identify, cultivate, and seize upon expressions and realizations of Judaism we knew not how to imagine. Who could have imagined this? Yet we are stronger together. Together, we press pause. Then we press fast forward. And soon, hopefully, it'll be time to press play, to resume life with some modicum of normalcy. Not to return to normal, not back to exactly where we were, but to a better version of the present. As a synagogue, that means you can expect a version of the present where we welcome you back to the sanctuary and the Beit HaTefillah to celebrate smachot, to mourn inevitable losses, to pray and study and simply be together in person and online. A present with more accessible, appealing Jewish content and communications. A present where we more fully embrace the resilience that is a hallmark of our community and are forever open to new possibilities. As a society, I hope that pressing play and returning to a better version of the present means that we might realize and embrace our collective responsibility to our fellow human beings. That we might live in a present where we never again take for granted our connections with those fellow human beings, from handshakes to high fives to hugs and heart-to-heart conversations. The present to which we return, I pray, is one where our proven resiliency enables a brighter future, a present where we have learned these hardest unsought lessons about the need for compassion and caring for others. At least, a present where grocery shopping isn't an adrenaline or anxiety-producing experience, and where Groundhog Day is confined to Punxsutawney. We will get there as a society and as a synagogue, and we will get there stronger together. Are you ready? I'm ready. Temple Emanuel's ready. Let's do this together.